Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kari and today I will tell you why you should read middle grade books. Also at the end of the video I will give you some middle grade books recommendations that I think are great to start. And I'll also talk a little bit about middle grade March, so I will leave the timestamps of the video in case you only want to see one section. Now let's start with the reasons. Reason number 1, you can reconnect with your inner child. If you loved reading since you were a kid, which I think is great, but that wasn't my case, I think it would have been beautiful. But if that is the case for you, I think it will be great to read middle grade books because you can remember that period of your life. And if you didn't read as a child, I think it also will be great because you can experience these different worlds in the books very differently from an adult point of view. You can see the imagination of a children and the possibilities and the adventures that these books present. Reason number 2, interesting worlds full of magic. Okay, here I'm focusing on fantasy books because a lot of the middle grade books that I've read are fantasy books. In these worlds you get to see many magical things, many adventures. The way that they are written is just amazing to read, and you have some elements of magic in one way or another. And of course you get to see wizards, princesses, pirates, dragons, dwarves, mermaids and more. Reason number 3, they are quick to read. The writing style and the pacing of middle grade books is made for children to read and continue with those books, especially if they are book series. So it is very quick to read them as an adult, and they are generally interesting all the time. There's something happening, so you can read a lot of middle grade books in a short period of time. Reason number 4, they have great characters with potential. The protagonists in these books are often kids, obviously, and they are very peculiar. They always have something in them that makes them special. It's so good to learn along them life lessons that you might have already learned but that you forgot, and to see them grow up into amazing people. I know that while reading you get to see and get to know your characters, so you probably are attached to them and you care for them, and that is very special when you have this character that has many great characteristics and that it has just a bright future. And the last reason is reason number 5, that they are very well-known stories. Many great book series that are well known even in pop culture because they have movie adaptations are middle grade books. Also, a lot of well-known classics are middle grade books. I think that is also a great start on what to read next because you can read a classic and a middle grade book that I think is a perfect combination, and they are very well-known stories that you can talk about with other people. Now it's time for my recommendations of middle grade books. They are in no particular order. I just want to say that they are all amazing in my opinion. The first recommendation is the whole A Series of Unfortunate Events series. I have recommended the first book before in one of my videos and also the TV show because both are amazing, but this series is very intelligent in the way that it's written, and it has awesome characters and great adventures. Every book is a different setting and different characters, and that makes the world in this series very rich. I just love them all, but I have a few of my favorites of course, but I think the whole series is great. The next recommendation is of course the Chronicles of Narnia. I think this is a great series to start because the books are very short and each of them you can read them separately, like you don't have to read them in order. There are many orders on how to read them. I recommend the publication order. That's the way I read them. And I think it's just a great order, a great way to see the whole story. Each book has a different adventure and the characters are amazing. I'm in love with the Pevensies, all of them. I think they are just great and very inspiring, so I really recommend you the Chronicles of Narnia. The next one is Anne of Green Gables. I love this book because it has many life lessons, and for kids that is amazing, but also for adults because often adults need some reminding on what is very important in life. And here we have just a great character, a very peculiar one that explores the world and sees the world with a very different perspective, and I think that's very important for everyone to read about. Then we have the Spiderwick Chronicles. I read the series last year and it was amazing. It was so quick to read. This is a great mix between fantasy and family drama and sibling relationships, but with a vast world full of fantasy creatures. The last books that I want to recommend are actually in another one of my videos, so I don't want to repeat myself. I will leave it here in the screen, but just so you know, the books that I mentioned there are all middle grade and they are all classics. The majority of them had movie adaptations and are very well known in pop culture, so I also recommend you those. Those were all my recommendations, and now I will talk about middle grade March. I don't usually do monthly TBRs because I don't like the pressure that they put on myself. That's just a personal preference. So I was scared to enter this challenge middle grade March, even though I really want to. So that's why I kind of made this video in honor to middle grade March, but I don't feel ready to fit all the prompts. I actually have 2 books that I think fit most of them that I want to read, so I will just quickly mention them, but I make no promises about this. The first one is the Diary Tales, which I talked about in my 5-star predictions video. If you want to see it, it will be here in the screen and in the description. That fits the prompt for a book with a silhouette on the cover, a book featuring a journey or adventure, and a retelling or fairy tale vibe. Is more a fairy tale vibe. And the second one is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series, which fits the prompt for a book with a silhouette on the cover and a book with a strong family or found family. So those are the 2, and I don't have the one for a book written in the decade that I was born. So if I read those, then I will be satisfied and I will feel like I was part of middle grade March. But you know, they also say in the videos that if you read only one middle grade book, you are participating. So yeah, this was just my explanation about middle grade March and my sort of TBR. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please give it a like, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content about books, TV shows, and movies every week. And I'll see you next time.